Well.
Bruh.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to interrupt. It was going to be a video of Go Battle League auto-rect in the Great League, the auto-recommended teams, a full set of 5, as inspired by Call Me Jake. So sorry, we're actually not gonna see that at all. But what we are going to see is I think is just as good, if not a little better, because I think I have come up with the spiciest team ever for Go Battle League. Battlers! In the Great League, okay? Let me explain. I know you're thinking you probably outspiced me. This is not a cheese team. This is a spice team, 100%. You might think it's a cheese team, but let's get into it. Number 1, lead with Granbull every single time. Lead with Granbull. The moveset that I am opting for in Go Battle League for Granbull for the coverage against the entire meta is Snarl, Play Rough, and Close Combat. That's right, I'm not running the Snarl Crunch combo. You think that might not make sense because what if you're in a rough spot against a Haunter or something and you're able to land a Crunch for the win? I found in this team composition, and you'll see why with what I anchor with, but I never need Crunch. If anything, I had problems when I tried Crunch, which might be in this video, but I always had problems when I ran Crunch because I found myself in a tough spot against an Azumarill. I mean, with Snarl Crunch, Close Combat, you're not going to do anything to an Azumarill. The Azumarill's not really worried about that. So again, open with Granbull every time. Snarl, Play Rough, Close Combat. But the second pick is going to be Hypno. People I think are using Hypno more often now. I ended up using a Hypno that I already have that has the moveset of Confusion, Shadow Ball, and Thunder Punch. So I opted for Thunder Punch for additional Azu coverage on top of the Play Rough, which can still hit kind of hard into an Azumarill. Now, at this point, as I was putting this team together, I'm like, oh, I feel like I might have overcompensated, for the Azumarill matchups, and now I can end up in a really rough spot potentially against Haunter. Even with Confusion, right? If they know what they're doing in the matches, the Haunter can still go for the win. And also I kind of still have a little bit of weakness potentially to Umbreon if it has Last Resort. So what I did to cover for both of those and to cover for pretty much everything else is I decided to anchor with Vigoroth, and it's another kind of different moveset. I do not run the traditional counter, Body Slam, and Bulldoze. I actually opt for counter, Body Slam, and Brick Break, which might seem like complete nonsense, but the reason that I opted for Brick Break over Bulldoze in Go Battle League is it is an option for me that can still deal super effective to the rocks and steels, to the rock steels as well, but also Brick Break can still hit neutral against a Skarmory. So I don't want any Skarmory problems because I kind of already have a Skarmory problem with this team composition as well, but also I'm going to be able to utilize the switch clock a little more to my advantage since I've opted for Brick Break instead of Bulldoze. Now, in some specific matchups, you absolutely still do not want to go Brick Break. You're going to want Bulldoze. But, specifically with how I built this Spicy 3, if you're going to run this and try it, trust me, you definitely want to have counter, Body Slam, and Brick Break. But that's the 3. I'm probably going to put it right up there above me so you can see it throughout the video. Let's get into the stinking battles for that, man. So I don't know. Hopefully nobody has anything spicier than this. I'm hoping that I have the Mega Spice, but let's find out, dude. Let's get into these battles. So first match looks like we're matched up against Wild Card. So I open, of course, with the Granbull. Won't even repeat that. I believe since he led with Swampert, what I want to do is dedicate 1 shield or even maybe 2 if I have to against the Swampert in this matchup. And I want to go for the double Close Combat. That's also part of this strategy is a lot of people might not expect the double Close Combat, but combined with Snarl and its extremely efficient energy generation, it's going to put on massive pressure. You can TKO a lot of different picks with the double Close Combat. Umbreon, I could talk about that for days, but the double Close Combat. I do go for the double Close Combat, which does go unshielded. I like that. That's beautiful. We don't want to see any shields come from that. And I got 2 Snarls in, I think, before I end up swapping out, because I know Hypno's a little tankier and he's going to have some kind of coverage, which he does. He can answer the Alola Marowak here. They have no shields because I used them on the close combats in the open, and I can clean land that Shadow Ball. That is a clean Shadow Ball. Obviously, they're going to be able to get off a Shadow Ball of their own at this point. Apparently not. They went for the Bone Club. Bruh. I take that back. So I was almost positive they had the Shadow Ball at that point, but it is what it is. GG's. I have the Thunder Punch good to go right now. I want to get rid of the Swampert, or at least do what I can to it before he decides to, use another Hydro Cannon or try and Mud Shot down, which doesn't matter anyway because I was able to Confusion down first. Dude, Hypno is a beast. Now in comes back the Skarmory, so since I built up a little bit of energy, I only needed those 2 more Snarls to get to another close combat, which doesn't do massive damage, but it does great damage against their Skarm. And this is actually, it looks like this is... Okay, so I take it back. I think the first set of 5 battles here, I actually anchored Registeel. I think this was before I decided to go full Mega Spice and anchor with Vigoroth. And I think it's because in one of the next upcoming battles, we have some problems with the Haunter. And that's why I opted to anchor with the Vigoroth. But the Granbull versus the Tropius. Even if I go close combat, it'll do a little bit of a chunk, but it will be resisted to Tropius's part flying typing. Keep that in mind. So now I do the safe swap situation here into the Hypno, which will do it'll put on a decent amount of pressure. I think I dedicate to the Confusion down here. I don't believe I use another shield. I literally use another shield. Bruh. I don't think I should have, but apparently I dedicated to it. So now I'm down 2 shields. They still have 2, and all I've done is really get rid of the Tropius. So not exactly ideal, but at least, if these Thunder Punches go unshielded, it'll deal super effective, which I kind of need against the Azumarill here. Especially if that Azumarill has Hydro Pump. That's not going to be great news for pretty much anything on my team, but especially not in the Registeel matchup. Basically, I would pray that they're running an Azumarill that has Bubble, Ice Beam, and Play Rough. Otherwise, I'm in a really bad spot. But this also, I was almost 100% positive they were going to try and bubble down and I wouldn't even reach the Play Rough, so I just opted to go for the close combat anyways, and it looks like they do end up bubbling down. And if what I remember here, this should be a Hydro Pump. I don't remember, honestly, in this specific one. Nope. It looks like it is an Ice Beam yet again, so I think I want to dedicate to the Lockdown Farm Down because they still have 2 shields and 1 Pokemon left, and yep. This is, I think after this, I end up switching to the Vigoroth because this situation was like, nah, bro. If this was like a normal typing that still had coverage, this would be hard GG's. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I really don't know what the Vigoroth with no shields versus a Haunter with 2 shields situation looks like. Probably not really good. Probably not really good. But obviously they're going to go for the Shadow Punch, which is going to TKO. And even with the Hypno coming back in with the massive Confusion damage, it's just not quick enough. It's not speedy enough for the Haunter there. So GG's to that trainer and your Haunter. It is what it is. You inspired me to make the team better. So thank you. Even though I took an L, thank you. Because now we can improve the team, which hopefully I did here. Did I do it now or later? Oh, okay. So this is the moment where I'm like, nah, I'm not going to have any more Haunter problems like that. They saved 2 shields. I had none. That's not going to happen again. So I ended up going with the Vigoroth that I had marked for championship because I believe I already know that it has the counter Body Slam and Brick Break, does it? It should not have Bulldoze. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't remember exactly where my head was at this point. This was a couple days ago from when this video is going to be up, but it is what it is. So even though I don't want to be in the Pro Bowl matchup, I do want to at least go for 1 close combat. I don't think I need to go for 2, but you saw how clutch that was. No shields from the Pro Bowl, total TKO. They come in with the Victory Bell. Obviously, I swap out from the Granbull. I want to save it, but now they come back in with the Medicham. So, of course, I'm kind of behind at this point, but I counter swap to this Hypno, and that Ice Punch does a decent chunk of damage, but I'm going for the Thunder Punch stuff into it because they do have 2 shields. I wanted to give a legitimate bait for the Shadow Ball, which it looks like I think it was successful. I'm pretty sure they used a shield. But they're going the Power Up Punch. Not even worried about the Power Up Punch. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But I'm going to try and bait again with the Thunder Punch to see if hopefully they do not shield that time, which was kind of smart. But at this point, I think I might dedicate a shield and go for the nope. I feel like I should right now. I feel like I should have used a shield and dedicated to the Confusion down. Apparently I didn't even need to. I did not need to. So we're able to get the Thunder Punch into the Victory Bell, which obviously will be resisted, but in comes the Vigoroth. It's going to do its thing now. I know they're going to shield. They have to, so I kind of BM a little bit. I go for the Brick Break. I'm like, you shielded it and not very effective. Yeah, I didn't need to do that, but they definitely needed a shield, so I did it anyways. Now I'm going to get to the body slam really quick. It's still not exactly where I want to be because it's Victory Bell, right? The Razor Leaf damage is just insane. But that's still GG's. I still took the W. So I'm like, you know what? I think this is it. I think this is the Mega Spice. This is the stuff I need. I'm not changing anything. I go straight back in. I'm like, give me the next opponent. Next opponent. Let's do this. Looks like a Zane 1175 is who we're up against next. So again, open Granbull. I open Granbull every single time with this team. They open with the Scarm. I think I dedicate a shield and I want to go for the double close combat play into the Scarm. It is, you know, some serious mind games. Almost nobody ever expects it. But now I just stopped. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for the close combat anyway into this Armaldo to see if we can do the massive damage, which we do apparently. And I kind of wasted energy here. I did not need to go for the play rough. I should have just gone for another close combat, if anything else, because the play rough is going to use more energy. I should have saved that energy. I guess I didn't want the debuff is what I was thinking, but they brought some cheese. They're running cross poison, so that TKOs anyway, and I'll confusion down with the Hypno. And from here on out, I think it's pretty much said and done. I mean, the Thunder Punch is going to be super effective into the Scarm, so it's going to deal great pressure, even though it doesn't do a huge amount of damage coming from Hypno. Keep in mind, Hypno is just psychic typing. He's not part electric or anything. So with all the elemental punches, it'll be super effective, but it's not going to have the same type attack bonus. Remember that, I guess. But they had a clutch swap here. They swapped into their Meganium, so I wasted my energy essentially by throwing the Thunder Punch at it, because now I have a lot of ground to make up at this point. But the good thing is, so I don't have the Registeel in the back that would take super effective from the Earthquake. Now I got this Vigoroth. Vigoroth don't care, dude. And especially since I have a shield for it, I'm pretty sure I dedicate to the farm down here with counter. Well, I kind of have to. I have no more shields left. But I go for the counter. We did successfully shield the Earthquake, so that's good. We needed that. But now we still have options even against the Skarmory here. We have the Brick Break, so I believe they get off a Sky Attack, which is not going to KO. It does not, and I should be able to get yet another Brick Break off into the Skarm. And I believe it's GG's. I believe the Brick Break TKOs all by itself, and I don't even have to come back in with the Hypno. Yep. Dunzo, dude. GG's. All right, the next opponent is Coltrane. Let's stinking go. So this isn't insanely ideal for me. Crunch would have been better. I don't really have any coverage at all against the Bronzong. Remember, the close combat can still deal neutral damage, so I guess that's kind of an answer I have for the Bronzong. But I still don't want to be matched up against this Bronzong. I do decide to go for the double close combat play. I don't remember if they use any shields or not. I'm pretty sure they do. Here we go, double close combat. I love that play. It gives me a lot of flexibility, especially as an open. Granbull is amazing, dude. I love Granbull so much. So now I can deal neutral against this Bronzong by just going for the counters. I think I use a shield. I should use it. Nope, I do not, apparently. I saved my shield, I guess, since I have the neutral coverage with this Brick Break against the Bronzong. I'm not as worried about taking the extra Psyshock damage. I want to save the shield, come back in with the... Oh, okay, so that was my play. Save my shield, come back in with this Granbull, let the Bronzong use its energy on the Granbull, and then come back in with the Hypno to see if I can get a one shield Hypno sweep. But again, this Hypno has Confusion, Thunder Punch, and Shadow Ball, so really it just depends on their team comp and what they have left, right? That's Go Battle League. You don't see their teams ahead of time, so you just gotta save your shields, see if you have coverage, and play it out as best as you possibly can, really. That's what it comes down to. So they do a quick aggro swap into the Toxicroak, so I'm like, yes, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing the Toxicroak, because now it's done for. Now I win, right? I can just Confusion down. You have no shields on this Lantern, and I have a Shadow Ball. I'm going to shield up, and I'm going to take this W. Give me the win. The Shadow Balls, dude. They're coming right at you. It always comes down to Shadow Ball and Go Battle League. The next opponent, Taten? Not sure how to say it. But they open up with the Haunter. I kind of like this, but I also kind of don't. I was actually kind of surprised they opted to swap out anyways from the Haunter into their Venusaur. I don't know exactly why they did that, to be honest, but I build up energy and I do a quick aggro swap into the Hypno. I'm like, okay, if I dedicate shields and I play this right, I might have another Hypno Sweep. I decide obviously not to shield the Frenzy Plant. What I'm thinking is I can Confusion down with the Hypno and then save everything for the Haunter coming back in. But I'm like, nah, you know how Venusaur is. Everyone is surprised by how quickly he's actually able to build up energy to get into their Frenzy Plant. So I just let it go. And this is where bringing Vigoroth came in super clutch, I guess. This is what I ended up bringing Vigoroth for, is because I'm done with these Haunter sweeps. I don't want to play any more games with Haunter. Vigoroth is not playing any games. They use a shield from a Body Slam. And since obviously, you know, he has not brought Sludge Bomb, that definitely should be a Shadow Claw, Shadow Punch Haunter at this point. I was like, okay, well, maybe they do have Sludge Bomb, so I guess that's why I dedicated a shield. But they do an aggro swap. I come back into the Granbull with the Close Combat. TKO the Melmetal. Close Combat into Haunter. Granbull. What did I say? Granbull? Granbull MVP. They still had a shield. GG's trainer. All right, and the next opponent is Sapatolucas. I'm not sure. But we're going up here. Again, open Granbull every stinking time. We've seen the Skarm lead before. We know how to play this out. So I'm going to... Do I swap, actually? Oh, it looks like I tried a safe swap-ish into Hypno because I do have the Thunder Punch coverage. And with how tanky Hypno can be, I'm not too worried about taking a Sky Attack or a Flash Cannon. But they do come in with the... What is it? AWAC? AWAC, yeah, that's not exactly ideal. Obviously, the AWAC's going to do massive damage if it goes for a Shadow Ball. And I was debating there too. I was like, nah, they're going to try and bait me right now. They definitely will. And they did. And they successfully got my shield off that bait. But it's like, you know what? Anyways, I've already had enough energy built up at this point. I'll just go for the Shadow Ball. They don't shield it. So we TKO that Alolan Marowak. In comes the Azumarill. Whether this is Ice Beam or Play Rough at this point, it's definitely not Hydro Pump. But Ice Beam or Play Rough, I'm not too worried about. But even then, I decided to dedicate the shield because I am going to be worried about that Skarm coming back in, and I want to have this Thunder Punch option, right? Skarm, you know, even taking neutral from the Brick Break encounter from Vigoroth, you can't really rely 100% on Brick Break for things like that because it's not a great move. It's really not. It's kind of a suboptimal move, but in situations like we've seen, it can be clutch. So they have this Skarm. Again, no shields. We know they still have the Azu left in the back. I come in straight away with this Granbull that I have the energy built up on. Go for the Close Combat TKO into, into the Skarmory. I build up a little bit of more energy again because I want to see if I can get a Play Rough for the victory against the Azu. I don't remember if I end up doing that or not for... for this battle here and go battling against this trainer. I might be able to TKO with Body Slam, or maybe not. I think they get another Ice Beam. Nope. I do get another Body Slam here into the Azu. And again, all shields are down. Vigoroth is extremely energy efficient. That's GG's. Hard GG's trainer. All right, and the next opponent here is February 8989. Obviously, I don't even need to say it. I don't. Lead Granbull. They opened Kingdra. I'm not worried about the Dragon Breath. Even though I'm a little squishy, I'm not worried about it. I can farm for days. I guess I went for an aggro Play Rough to make them regret not swapping out earlier, but they come in with the Umbreon here. So the main thing I think I'd have to worry about from an Umbreon is if they are going to be going for a last resort. So rather than to try and, you know, play out that matchup situation, I just went straight for the Close Combat. I believe I dedicate a shield. And it looks like it was last resort, so I played that correctly. Now I can come in with the Vigoroth, and he's just going to do his thing. The Brick Break is going to be, again, super effective into Umbreon, because Umbreon is pure Dark. Fighting is super effective to Dark, and they might not have been expecting that. I do remember, I think I take a Dark Pulse to the face right now. Yeah, Dark Pulse to the face, which hurts. It does a lot of damage, but... Still, Vigoroth versus Umbreon, I'm just going to counter down, build up the energy. Looks like they have a Raichu that they come in with Volt Switch. So Raichu's kind of squishy. Volt Switch still does a lot of damage. Raichu has a pretty considerable attack stat. But again, the energy efficiency that Vigoroth has, it's not too considerable. You know, if I got to another Body Slam, I decided to not and to save a shield because I know I can come back in with the Hypno. But if I was on a rough spot, you know, I still could have even shielded and put on more shield pressure to them because I already had access to another Body Slam. But again, with how the matchup is playing out so far, I don't need to come back in with the Hypno for the Thunder Punch. I do believe actually I might have ended up taking an L for this game somehow. No, I think I'm thinking about a different one. I think we definitely won this one. We'll see. They got the Octazooka, okay, but they did not get the attack debuff. Oh, I think that's a mistake I made. I think I was being a little too greedy because they're able to get to another one, which does massive damage. I have to go for, I believe, double close combat at this point. No, I definitely take this one. I'm thinking about a different one, but I get the double close combat, and oh no, maybe I do take the L. What? I don't remember. Nope, GG's. That's GG's. Okay, GG's trainer. Next opponent here is Tom. Open Granbull into a Haunter. I want to see if they end up swapping out like that other trainer did from the Granbull matchup. Looks like they're not. They're just going straight Shadow Claw. They're dedicated to it. Now they're opting to use their energy, so I'm going to be shielding. It was a Shadow Punch, so I guess, you know, if they were baiting with Shadow Punch in that matchup, they successfully got it. But again, with my lineup, I'm not too worried about them baiting or trying to bait like that. What I was hoping for when I came in with the Hypno, even though Hypno is taken super effective from Ghost period, I was hoping I could Confusion down before they accessed another move. Unfortunately, they did have access to a Shadow Punch, so I do decide to shield that Shadow Punch. Now I'm shieldless. They are shields up, and they have this Tropius. I think this is the team I ended up taking an L2, and I think it's probably because I decided to shield that Shadow Punch. If I had not shielded the Shadow Punch, this possibly could have gone much differently, but at the end of the day, I decided to shield it, so I believe that's GG's. I think the Shadow Ball might actually land into the Tropius, or do they shield it? It does land. Okay, so the Shadow Ball landed successfully, which, as you saw, does an insane amount of damage even to a Tropius. They'll TKO me with the Leaf Blade. I don't know if it was smart for them to use that energy at that point, because now I can come in and counter down with the Vigoroth, even with the part flying type. Resisting the counter damage, I can still do what I need to do in that matchup. Now, yeah, this is definitely the one I took an L for, because this is, I believe this is an Ice Punch right here, and the Ice Punch TKOs the Granbull, and then, oh no, it doesn't. It gets close to it, but I decided to go for the close combat, which they still have a shield. You know, whether it's play rough or close combat, they definitely need to use the shield at this point. But they built up more energy right there because of the Mud Shot. And this is, at this point, they have access to a Dynamic Punch, which I believe TKOs. Ooh, so close to it. I was one counter away from a Body Slam. One! GG's trainer. 30 Boy is the next opponent here. Looks like this might be the last battle. Maybe there's one more. I think this is the last one though for this video, but they open with the Melmetal, okay? I don't want to play any bait games or try too hard against Melmetal with Granbull, because Melmetal with Thundershock, it has such a versatile, you know, move pool and things that it has access to. I don't want to play any games against it. So I swapped into the Vigoroth. They counter swap into Venusaur here. Now, for the OG battlers, for people who have been heavy into PvP, in the Silph scene, you know, for the past year and a half-ish, Vigoroth can still do crazy damage to Venusaur with the Body Slam. Even with counter being resisted, the Venusaur wants to use at least one shield from the Body Slams, right? But I have the Hypno, so now I can just come in and Confusion down, and they have the Melmetal still, but I'm not so worried about shielding things from Melmetal with Hypno than I would be from Granbull, right? Because I don't know what they have. Obviously, it looks like they have Rock Slide, but they could have Thunderbolt. They could have Flash Cannon. They could have Hyper Beam Meme. They could have Superpower. I don't really know what the full move set is, and that's why I decided to play it out that way. Because now at this point, I know even if they use their energy here and I have to use a shield, I'm going to be able to access a close combat before they can do anything else. But they were smart with the way they played that. They decided to swap, not necessarily counter swap, but they swapped into their Azu, so kind of a safe swap. But that's why, right? So this is exactly why I have play rough and not crunch, because even if I find myself in a situation like this, I actually have options. I can do something. I still can do something against an Azumarill, and it's definitely more than something, because we almost took care of the Azumarill just with the Granbull. And now we're going to be able to Confusion down with the Hypno. And I think this is really close. Was this one I was salty about? Oh, yeah, because I think I was too greedy. I was way too greedy. I should have just gone Thunder Punch. I wanted to go Shadow Ball. They hit the Rock Slide. Oh no, I survived this one. I get the Shadow Ball anyway, dude. GG's, trainer. G stinking G's. I definitely was too greedy, but GG's, wow. But it looks like that is it for this Mega Spice video and for that Mega Spice team for Go Battle League in the Great League. So again, lead Granbull every time, Snarl, play rough, close combat, anchor with Vigoroth, counter, brick break, and body slam. And then sandwich with Hypno that has confusion, shadow ball, and thunder punch. But subscribe if you feel my vibe, and power up punch the notification bell for all the PvP content, whether it's Silph Arena or Go Battle League. Yes, I know this is like the first actual video I've made for my channel in quite a while. Can you expect to actually see content from me on this channel again? Yes, absolutely yes. And I guess for my longtime followers and subscribers, it has been a hot minute trying to get merchandise out. I've decided I want to go through one specific outlet, you know, with the Stream Elements merch, and they did recently just release their beta, so I will actually have my own, you know, official merchandise coming up very soon, so keep an eye out for that. I'll probably reveal it in a video, but I might tweet it out ahead of time for those who follow me on Twitter. If you don't, link is in the description. And also as a reminder, again, I do stream on Twitch. Currently, I'm going to dedicate to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Yes, I did move it up an hour, so I'm going to start an hour earlier than I usually do. But again, starting at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 8 p.m. EST, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I do still stream for about 3 to 4 hours at a time, so you can probably still catch me if you jump on later. But if you're interested in jumping on those PvP streams and seeing things a little differently in real time, link for the Twitch channel is also in the description below. Go ahead and give a follow so you can be notified when I go live there. But I do hope you enjoyed this Mega Spice team. I know I really did. If you did, leave a like. It really does help a lot. Share this video if you want to too. Whatever you want to do. This Mega Spice. This Mega Spice, dude. But battlers, as always, take it one battle at a time and have a good freaking day.